10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Of course.
I know we are. Greetings. Holy hell, it's Monday. I'm like Johnny Carson from back in the 80s and 90s. I don't like Mondays. Except I like Mondays. Normally the Midnight Black Mass would be airing in this time slot for everybody listening live. They will be returning next Monday night. Welcome to the 20th day of November 2017. Welcome into a special edition of the Shooters Gallery in a multiple location station. Yours truly, the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Study Layne in Studio 1. Good to be home. Had a lot of fun. We'll talk about that in a minute, though. Welcoming in tag team partner, the president of wrestling, Phil Stamper.
Hi.
No, but I should be. Many people have said that on more than one occasion.
That's okay. I'm almost fair to partly cloudy myself right now.
Hey! How does that line sound familiar? Oh, yeah. Never heard it before in my life. Just said it 100,000 times. First off, thank you to everybody listening in this evening. Shane Noles expected to be joining us in a few minutes. Are you doing Facebook? Ow, crap, bit my tongue. That's what happens when I start to mention that damn social networking site. You should find out what happens when I actually mention Twitter. Are you doing Facebook Live tonight?
I was not, but I certainly could. Give me a moment and I shall.
Okie dokie. Actually, in probably about another week or two, if I can get things lined up the way I want them, probably going to be going video live from Studio One also.
Okay.
Hot on the heels of a number of circumstances and got a lot staring us straight in the face. First off, before we start diving into things that happened last night, I want to say a very heartfelt thank you. Scott Hensley, Dylan Hales, Josh Massey, everybody with the Scenic City group. I had a blast all over again this past Saturday night at the Scenic City Trios tournament in Hickson, Tennessee. A lot of the Beyond Ringside family there, of course. Tank was there. He was working in the back end, patrolling out front. Reverend Dan Wilson was on commentary, and I had the privilege of joining him at the commentary table for the night. From that vantage point, Stan Grubb, Rob Hefner, Ryan Taylor, the cast of Corner to Corner made it up. Also, To Be Determined show alumni, Tasha Simone, former three-time NWA Women's World Champion in the house this past Saturday. The S.S. Schmidtke from Beyond Ringside Live made his way up there Saturday night, and it was a great time. It really was. Unfortunately, Andrew Alexander wasn't able to make it up there. Wick and Angie from To Be Determined. Wick is out injured right now. I had a conversation with him. Folks, for those who are religious by nature, I ask you to lift him and his family up in prayer right now. He's got a major leg injury, and we're all hoping for the best on this one right now, but it's kind of questionable. So I'm hoping for the best in this circumstance. Also from there, I know Wick and Angie have been going through a lot of family circumstances right now. Not going to go into detail. That's their situation to talk about, not mine. So definitely keep both of them in your thoughts. Mark Mabo Bowman was working with a promotion down here in the state of Alabama. Shane Noles was originally supposed to be working with Global Championship Wrestling in Pell City, Alabama. Unfortunately, due to extenuating circumstances from the Alabama Athletic Commission and the venue itself, GCW was forced to cancel this past Saturday night, and I'm going to leave that right there. There will be a Hold My Beer moment coming up in the very near future, so just get ready for the handoff, and I hope you've got either gloves or a cooler, because I drink my beer super cold. But in all sincerity, coming back to it this past Saturday, incredible time. Some great wrestling action. Going to talk a little bit more about that as the night progresses. Good Lord. Corey Tatum, Rob Brodiker managed to run into a whole bunch of old friends and new friends, made a whole bunch of new friends as well. We will be having probably on BR Live the People's Captain Gunnar Miller on in the very near future. Nick Iggy Carey Awful from the Carnies slated to join us in the near future on one of the shows. And we've got a lot going on. By the way, Scenic City returns Saturday night, February the 10th for the Scenic City Rumble in Ooltewah, Tennessee. Yes, this will be a Beyond Ringside road trip in every capacity possible. Be ready for it. Here we go. Start making your plans. Saturday, February the 10th. We're going to have a lot of fun. Guaranteed. City Diner will never be the same. We invaded this time. We're going to take that sumbitch over next time. But of course, last night, Survivor Series from WWE. And Phil, you called the finish.
Yes, I did.
We actually called it. Phil called. I agreed. Because lo and behold, what is the best way to talk about WWE programming? You say it most eloquently.
The WWE is not a television show about wrestling. It's a TV show. That sometimes features wrestling. And the stars of that TV show are the McMahon family.
In one capacity or another, yes, and always have been. You know,
I totally said the line backwards, by the way. It's supposed to be, it's not a wrestling show on television. It just happens to be a television show that sometimes features wrestling.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
I had a moment.
You've been hanging around me too long. That's all I'm going to say.
Apparently.
Were you surprised that they started out with the Shield versus New Day?
Well, yes and no, because, all right, so I'll be honest, I got a little confused. I didn't think Survivor Series was starting until 8 o'clock.
Yep.
So by the time I got online, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm already here, because I thought they were starting the kickoff with the Shield, and I was like, I didn't see that one coming. Only to find that they did the kickoff with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Cruiserweight match. I'm not opposed, even in the way the whole event went through the course of the night. Like, I'm okay with how it led.
I was actually quite surprised that they led off with Shield versus New Day, because that has got to be one of their bigger draws right now for everybody who looks past the traditional Survivor Series matchups and none of the matches really being for a championship. I figured they would have put Shield New Day somewhere around the midway part, because you knew that the Shield was going to bring the intensity and the New Day was going to bring the excitement. So, But to put them in the leadoff spot, hindsight being 2020, I thought it was an excellent move, because you gave people something that they could really become emotionally invested in, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And the only thing about it is this is not being braggadocious in the least, nor am I being pretentious. It's bad when you can smell the ending. It's bad when you absolutely know when the go home is. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. You can.
I will say I got other things wrong throughout the course of the evening. It just so happens that I got the main event right. In literally almost every way. Because on a different podcast that I shall not name, I did a preview and I was like, oh, this is how I think the final match is going to go in the Survivor team versus teams Survivor Series match. And I even think I called the order of elimination correctly.
See, it's kind of like in the women's match, you knew that unless it was a count out, Asuka was not going to be eliminated. You knew that unless it was a mugging with heavy artillery and an oak tree used as a billy club, Strowman wasn't going out.
Right.
I mean, granted, they did hint to the fact that disqualifications could take place to a degree. However, countouts were accessible. Pinfall and submission, of course, were the preferred method of elimination. But it's just like basic math involved in this. You don't invest that much in Asuka to have her eliminated to have her first pin or submission take place in a multi-person tag team match, no matter what the stage. That first is going to happen on Raw or a pay-per-view.
Yes.
Other than Survivor Series in this format. Strowman's had his ups and downs as far as wins and losses, more wins than losses. But I've just got to sit back and say, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt, Strowman was not going to be eliminated unless it was by countout. Not unless they had another garbage truck come in and scoop him up.
There you go.
Well, makes sense. I mean, Lord, they put the man over as a monster, but the thing about it is when Hunter did what he did, the look on Strowman's face was absolutely priceless. He sold that perfectly. Agreed?
Absolutely.
That was just the consummate WTF look. And I'm pretty sure somebody is going to have a meme out there sooner or later if it wasn't done 5 minutes after. Here, screenshot this. Put this down here. We'll send that out as a meme. Have we seen that many Braun Strowman memes?
I don't know if we have seen that many Braun Strowman memes now that you think about it.
Lo and behold, this probably, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm not going to be overly condescending. But I liked the match order.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the flow of the show. 4 hours went by in the blink of an eye.
I was surprised at how it moved.
Yeah, and lo and behold, they did a good job of continuing the overall without running it in the ground, other than in the first 5 minutes of the show. The genuine Raw versus SmackDown for brand supremacy. They would eke it in here and there, but not as heavily as they had been on the build-up.
Yes.
And lo and behold, I love the way that they had the table set up. The two primary SmackDown announcers on one side, the two primary Raw announcers on the other end, and you had Corey Graves who does both shows right in the middle. I thought that was beautifully executed. On the whole, I didn't have the traditional problem with Survivor Series that I do with a lot of WWE pay-per-views. This was one of their more well thought out and better booked events. Agree or disagree?
I do think so. And I mean, there was a lot of story going into it. There was a lot. They actually built a decent contention between Raw and SmackDown. I think they actually did lead into it at least better than we've seen in a long time.
And that's scary coming from WWE. Because when I knew they were going to go 4 hours, I'm sitting back going, okay, how many of these extended pay-per-views do they expect us to swallow? And can you find a way to keep our interest through the course of the night? And this was actually one of those circumstances that did hold interest. Coming out of the New Day Shield match, they turn around and go for the 5-on-5 women's match. Team Raw, Team SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that it was quite questionable that they eliminated Lynch as early as they did. Team captain. Go ahead.
I agree. I thought that as well. I thought that was a lot.
I mean, I have my reasons. What was your primary thought behind that?
I mean, I think they wanted to give more attention to the other people on SmackDown. I mean, that was my only thought I could really have with it. You had Natalya, who just had the run of the title. Charlotte is the champion, so Becky kind of got reduced, I think, in her role in that team.
Well, here's the problem that I have with this whole scenario, and once again, I'm not overly knocking it, but when you've got the most, okay, in my book, as a pure babyface, Becky Lynch is over. Almost as much as Natty is over as the crazy cat lady heel. They can't, in my book, they have not been very successful in genuinely finding a way to get people to invest in Tamina Snuka. Carmella, and this is not me talking about a heel character, her personality grates my nerves. Her on-screen presence just, bleh. And Naomi is bland. All things considered, you take away the smoke machine, you take away the black light, you take away the LEDs. Honestly, she's bland. Your two best on that team were Lynch and Neidhart. Now, I respected and appreciated the Tamina versus Nia Jax segment. Finally, they did that. I like the fact that they made Nia look strong and put Tamina in the down position and turned around and had her come back on Nia. And that, to me, was actually one of the stronger points in the night or the match, because what I said a few minutes ago, you found a way to become a little bit, depending on who you are and how much you like her and how much you genuinely like the match, you found a way to become a little bit invested in this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's pause for a moment. Let's reset for a moment.
Go ahead.
Overall, you started out saying you thought this was a better pay-per-view, or you thought it was pretty good, right?
Right.
Am I miss?
And I give it an A minus. I give it an A minus.
I feel like you're now dissecting
this one match.
Okay. Are you sure?
I didn't give it an A plus.
Okay. Oh, guess who's back on Raw, by the way?
Who dat?
Speaking. Hi, Paige.
Eventually, yeah.
No. Right now, this moment on Raw.
I knew. See, I don't have cable here at Studio One. I have Roku. I'm happy.
Well, here at Studio 2 there is.
I thought it was in the President's Camper.
I wasn't sure what to call this. Is this the East Coast campus of the Southern Maryland campus of Beyond Radio? Beyond Ringside.
Oh, wait. Well, let's see. You are the president of wrestling, so it could be Radio Force One.
Okay.
Beyond Force One.
Beyond Force One. I kind of like that. Beyond Force One.
Well, think about it. This is radio, therefore you'd be on air, and of course, since this is Beyond Ringside Sports Radio, so it'd be Beyond Force One.
Yeah.
Notice I did not give him the possibility to call it Stamper Force One.
I don't like that.
Okay, good.
I will say I had recently had a promoter give me a call and say, "Hey, I think you should run an event in Virginia. You can use my license, and I don't care what you call it. You can call it Stamper's House of Wrestling." And I didn't catch it until like half an hour later that I was like, "Wait a minute, that would mean I'd be running show."
Oh, nice.
And I was like, "Huh." And for the person who's asking, yes, Shaheen, yes, I am the president of wrestling. It is a thing. Look it up. It's on Twitter. It's real.
It's on Twitter and Facebook and the internet. It must be true, right?
We are Facebook living this right now. If you want to, I've posted it on Beyond Ringside. It's also on my personal page actually, it's on Desco Phil Stamper as well. So check it out there.
Okay, cool. And I was about to say, if you want to, go ahead and patch the Facebook feed into my personal page. If you want to share the link.
Why not?
Erky Durky. But coming back over to it, like I said, Fox gave a great account for herself. Asuka is turning out to be one of a kind. Nia Jax, like I said, her segment with Tamina, I thought was beautifully executed. But once again, and like I said, you come back over to it. I made the statement that for the longest time, they had yet to give people a reason to become emotionally invested or psychologically invested in Tamina Snuka. But yet, in her role as the underdog in that first part of her and Nia, I was watching some social media and people were getting behind Tamina. It's like, finally. And then you look at Team Raw. Sasha Banks, believe it or not, my jury is still out on her.
That's fair.
She is not a great babyface. She is not a great protagonist.
So
go ahead.
There's been this argument for a long time. There's so many people in wrestling that the only persona they have in wrestling is that they're a wrestler. Like, what stands out about you? What makes you different than everybody else?
Right.
What is your identity or thing? And at the same time, can you think of anybody who, or can you think of that many people who've had very strong gimmicks who are anything other than that, who've reached sort of the top or pinnacle of success? So, thinking of sort of all of that, like, okay, that's kind of true too. But I look at Sasha and I think, like, Sasha's best gimmick is that she's the best friend of Bayley.
And I'm sorry.
Who has yet to turn on her. Like, that is her trait right now.
And for me, the simple fact of life is I called Naomi Bailey. I mean, I called Naomi Vanilla.
You call Naomi Bailey?
Yeah, no, really. I called Naomi Vanilla a little while ago. Bailey is on that same plane. Okay, Bailey and Naomi are both technically sound in the ring. They can work a good match. But as time has gone by, and I said the same thing about Sami Zayn, you can only be the underdog for so long, because if you start to win, but you don't win the big one, you're simply called a choke artist. You're not the under. If you go on a tear and win 8 straight matches, you get a championship match and you lose, you're called a choke artist.
Washington Redskins.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching one of the sports channels earlier today, and they would not use that word. They turned around and said, Washington's professional football team. Oh, my God, stop the stupidity. Okay, look. Timeout, my side of the coin.
Oh, no. How did we jump?
You brought up Washington.
Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit.
Other cities I've not gone to either.
I don't want to have a conversation about the Redskins at all.
I'm just simply going to say it like this.
They're the worst team okay, next to the Cleveland Browns. They're
Thank
the
you.
worst team in Redskins. Put it this way, the Redskins are so bad they had to give away their quarterback, and they gave them to the Cleveland Browns.
And he got hurt in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
See, look, I bleed Crimson Tide red just as much as I bleed green and gold for the UAB Blazers down here. When Trent Richardson was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, I just went, oh, God, his career's done. What happened? Injury. Hasn't been the same since. Look, I have people in this world that I cannot stand. I don't hate anybody.
Yes.
I hated the fact that he was drafted by Cleveland. I wouldn't wish the Cleveland Browns on my worst enemy. And trust me, I've wished some bad things on my worst enemies before. But, and for the record, the reason why I was going to go my side of the coin is very simple. I'm 51 years old. I'm a mutt, that I'm heavily Italian in my bloodline. And I've been called everything from Dago, Wop, all the little nicknames that people throw out there. And yet, lo and behold, everybody wants to get offended for everybody else. And it's the culture in which we live. Well, first off, if that person that you're talking to wants to get offended, let them get offended. You don't have to get offended in their behalf if they don't get offended. You've got some people that can't, you've got some who are Native Americans who don't give a rat's ass about the word redskin. And you have others that it's a sore subject. Okay. Just because, and if somebody's not offended by it, that's their choice. If somebody's offended by it, that's their choice. Nobody else needs to get offended for anybody else until you find out whether or not that person gets offended on their own. And for the love of God, please tell me what I'm supposed to be offended by. I'm offended by stupidity. I'm offended by pushy people who tell me that I need to be offended by something. If you
my brain's going, don't push me, push pop.
If you can find a way to genuinely offend me, I'll give you a damn cookie. And if it's really good, I will come to your city and buy it there in person.
The cookie or the city?
I can't buy the city. Well, I could probably buy Cleveland. I don't know. It's probably going for $29.99 on eBay right now. And God knows if it's on eBay, it must be real. But, okay, timeout. My side of the coin done. Is that... Okay, cool. But, yeah, coming back over to it. All in all, the women's Survivor Series matchup had good moments. Was it great? No. Was it good? Yes. Was it memorable? Probably not. Can you tell me the order of anybody being eliminated other than Becky Lynch going out first? Probably not. Is that a bad thing? Not really. Is it a good thing? Not really. Yeah. But it was a decent match. And it fit where it was placed. Phil?
I would agree. I mean, I outside of the surprise of Becky, I didn't think there was any other like, oh my gosh, moments. I don't think there was any big deep surprises. I mean, but that's the character or nature of the WWE. They don't want you to have a long-term memory. They want to be able so that the next day on Raw they can reset and everything's neutral, even playing ground, and that's exactly what they did.
Now, I do have to ask. I did not see. I was called off to the side. I had business to attend to. I didn't see the Miz Baron Corbin match. So I'm basing my opinion of the entire show based on the fact I didn't see this match. Was there anything in your book that stood out as memorable about this match?
Honestly, I can't. I can barely remember the match. And that's not saying anything about the quality of the people. I just honestly just can't remember. I remember Lana getting knocked off, and when she got knocked off, I thought, oh, she's going to be the sole survivor because she just took one hell of a bump on the floor. And her heel went in like another direction than she did.
Do me a favor. We just hit the top of the hour, folks. We're going to take a brief commercial intermission. When we come back, going to pick up my phone and throw it across the room because I forgot to put that sucker on vibrate before we kicked off the show. Hang tight. The Shooters Gallery picks right back up right after this.
This is Country Jack, Corey Hollis, and you are locked in to Beyond Ringside.
When planning your next party or special event, insist on the best. Full Range Entertainment is a professional entertainment company providing a full range of services. From professional disc jockeys and MCs to catering and photography, when the details of your special day must be perfect, call us first. Wedding receptions, corporate parties, school functions, birthday celebrations, and more. We also have Birmingham's largest selection of karaoke tracks available. With over 40 years combined experience, Full Range Entertainment can provide you with the talent and professionalism you need and deserve to make your next event one you'll never forget. For more information on the full range of services we offer, call 533-HITS. That's 533-HITS. Or check us out on our website at fullrangeentertainment.com.
You're listening to the Shooters Gallery on ProWrestlingRadio.net.
Hello again, everybody, and this is Stan Grubb for Corner to Corner Radio for the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join us every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with myself, Rob Hefner, and Brian Taylor as we bring you our thoughts and feelings on the world of professional wrestling and everything in between. As my good friend Rob would say, from corner to corner and pillar to post, we bring it to you every week. We look forward to seeing you. Thanks again for listening to the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
The To Be Determined Show, live every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on this very radio station, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, as well as the Beyond Ringside Radio app. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Architect of Intellect, the Wicked Nemesis, and my producer extraordinaire, Fast Eddie Layne.
That'd be me over here.
My co-host, Joshua O'Hagan.
Kitty got claws. Meow.
My much better half, Angie Nemesis.
Come join the madness.
This is not safe for work. This is your warning, parental advisory. If you have any kind of heart defects, make sure you listen because they will take effect when we go live. I promise you that. For everything outside of wrestling and a little bit of wrestling and hardcore to the bone, we are the To Be Determined Show.
If you really want to get raw on Monday nights, tune into the Beyond Ringside Radio Network at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 Central Time for the Midnight Black Mass Podcast. Myself, the Reverend Dan the Dragon Wilson, along with the Strong Style Psycho Tank and Andrew Alexander, bring you a truly blood-curdling experience. Uncensored, uncut, and only on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Howdy, friends. It's the Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne with your invitation to join me, Mark Mabo Bowman, and Brooks Logan Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Find us on BeyondRingside.com, ProWrestlingRadio.net, and the Beyond Ringside Radio app for Amazon, Android, BlackBerry, and a whole lot more. Once again, that's Sundays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network and ProWrestlingRadio.net.